Learn English with the story of Spider-Man. Peter Parker was a quiet, intelligent teenager living in Queens, New York City. He wasn't very popular at school. He wore glasses, loved science, and was often picked on by other students. He spent most of his time either studying or helping his Aunt May and Uncle Ben at home. His parents had died when he was very young, so his aunt and uncle raised him with love and care. Peter was passionate about photography and science. One day, his high school class went on a field trip to a high-tech research center. The lab was filled with experiments, advanced machines, and genetically modified creatures. As Peter explored the lab, he was bitten by a special spider that had been part of a genetic experiment. At first, Peter didn't feel anything unusual, but the next morning, everything was different. He felt stronger, faster, and more agile. His body had changed. He no longer needed glasses. He could stick to walls. He could sense danger before it happened. And soon he discovered that he could shoot webs from devices he later created himself. He was amazed by these changes. Excited and curious, Peter tested his new powers. He climbed walls, swung from buildings, and realized that he had abilities no other human had. Inspired by his discovery, he decided to use his powers to earn some money. He designed a costume, entered a wrestling competition, and won easily. However, after the match, something tragic occurred. The event organizer was robbed, and Peter had the chance to stop the thief, but he didn't. "It's not my problem," he said. Later that night, his beloved Uncle Ben was shot in a robbery by the same man Peter had let escape. The pain of losing Uncle Ben changed Peter forever. He remembered the lesson his uncle had once told him: with great power comes great responsibility. From that day on, Peter decided to use his powers not for himself, but for others. He became Spider-Man, a hero who fought crime and protected the innocent. He created a new red and blue suit, improved his web shooters, and began patrolling the city. But being Spider-Man was not easy. He had to live a double life. During the day, he was Peter Parker, a student, a friend, a nephew. At night, he was a masked hero saving people from danger. He couldn't tell anyone his secret, not even Aunt May or his best friend Harry Osborn. Peter also struggled with love. He had deep feelings for Mary Jane Watson, a kind and beautiful girl next door. But being a hero meant keeping her at a distance to keep her safe. That made Peter's life even harder. As Spider-Man, Peter faced powerful enemies. One of his earliest and most dangerous enemies was the Green Goblin, who was actually Norman Osborn, Harry's father. The Goblin was a brilliant scientist who went mad after testing a dangerous formula. He used bombs, a flying glider, and superhuman strength to cause chaos in the city. Spider-Man and the Green Goblin fought many times, and their battles were intense and emotional. Peter also faced Dr. Octopus, also known as Doc Ock. He was a genius with four mechanical arms that gave him great strength and control. A lab accident had damaged his mind and turned him into a villain. Their fights were not just physical, they were battles of intelligence too. There was also the Lizard, a scientist named Dr. Kirk Connors who tried to regrow his lost arm using lizard DNA. The experiment failed, and he turned into a giant reptilian creature with incredible strength and speed. Peter tried to help him, knowing that inside the monster was still a man. The Sandman was another foe, a man who could turn his body into sand, escape through tiny cracks, and form massive fists. Fighting him was like fighting a storm. And then came Venom, a terrifying black alien suit that bonded with Peter first, then with another man named Eddie Brock. Venom had all of Spider-Man's powers, but none of his morals. Every villain Peter faced challenged him in a different way, some physically, some emotionally. He learned something from each fight, about trust, about forgiveness, about sacrifice. Even though he was a superhero, Peter still had to deal with everyday problems. He missed school. He struggled to keep a job. He worried about paying rent and taking care of Aunt May. Life as Spider-Man was full of choices, difficult, painful choices. But he never gave up. Over time, Peter learned to balance his life. He grew as a person. He became more confident, more thoughtful, and more committed to helping others. He worked with other heroes too. He joined teams like the Avengers, He fought side by side with Iron Man, Captain America, and others. But he never stopped being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Peter Parker's story is one of growth, pain, strength, and kindness. He is a hero not because of his powers, but because of his choices. He gets hurt. He loses people. He struggles, but he always gets back up. He fights for others, even when no one sees it. And that is what makes him special. Now, go back and listen again. Try repeating each paragraph with me. That's called shadowing, and it's one of the best ways to improve your English speaking and listening skills. Practice slowly, take your time, and enjoy the journey. Thank you for learning with Easy Pace English. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends who are also learning English. And remember, learning English is not a race. It's a journey. We'll see you in the next story. Goodbye for now.